Hey everyone. Now we're going to just dig a little bit deeper into those 5 steps to renting an apartment. So, for one, determining how much you can afford to pay is really important because it honestly is just a numbers game. A landlord is going to check to see how much it is you earn monthly before taxes, and typically they just divide by 3. The number they get is what your rent should approximately be at or below. So, step 2 is, of course, to call me. Why? Because similarly, if you were searching for a home to purchase, when you're renting, you can work with just one person. So, I do tons of rentals. I'm happy to assist you with finding your new apartment. So, of course, call me 973 460 4674. You can also text me. I'm very responsive, which is a quality you definitely want when you are searching for your next home, is to work with a responsive realtor. The second step has a little bit more information that I kind of want to talk to you about. So, we're going to talk about where you would like to live, how much you can afford to pay for your monthly rent. But I also want to review the costs associated with moving. So, for one, there is a background check that we are going to ask you to complete. It's an NTN background check. The application can actually be found on my website, lifeandlegacyhomes.com. This application needs to be completed by anyone who is 18 years of age and older who's going to be residing in the unit and or a co-applicant, if you should have one. The cost of that is $32, and this is a check that does not only your criminal history, but it also does your credit history as well as eviction history. So if there are any findings that you are aware of, it's often helpful if you can just discuss them with me in advance so that we can figure out what's the best way to approach your situation. The next thing is depending on the apartment, there is going to be a broker fee associated with the rental. Often the fee is for the tenant to pay, but sometimes the landlord does pay the fee or they split the fee with the tenant. The fee is equal to 1 month's rent. Another fee in order to move in would be your first month rent is collected once a landlord accepts you as their tenant, along with a security deposit. Often we hear it's 1.5 months rent for a security deposit, which is usually held in an account in the tenant's name, which is why we're going to ask you to complete a W-9 so that if there is interest to be paid on those fees, it will go directly to you and not to the landlord. So typically when I'm talking to someone, I tell them in order to move in, you basically just multiply the rent you're looking to pay times 3.5, and that's roughly what it costs to move in into your new home. So once we have decided that we're going to work together and I'm going to help you find your new apartment, I'm going to set up something called a Real Scout search. Now, I really like this software. It's working constantly. As soon as a listing comes on the market on the MLS, which is the multiple listing service, if I have a search set up for you, you're going to get alerted to that apartment. And if you indicate within the software things that you like or dislike about a property, it's going to highlight that information for you. So one of my favorites is parquet floors. So if I click the thumbs up or the like button on parquet floors or wood floors, when there is a new listing on the market that has those parquet or wood floors, it's going to just highlight that information and say, hey Tiffany, I know you're looking for an apartment. This one just came on the market and it has beautiful hardwood floors, just so that I pay a little bit more attention to that listing versus any other. Once you are set up in Real Scout, there's also a button that you can click that says request an appointment. And you can write directly in that little message to me, hey Tiffany, I'd like to see this Saturday around 10 a.m. if that's possible. Once you click that button, I get an email and I begin working with the listing agent to find out if we're able to show that apartment at the time and day that you're interested. So let's say you followed all those steps, you found an apartment you love. What's next? Well, once you found something that you really love, I am going to ask that you complete that NTN background check from step 2. And you also submit proof of your income so that I can prepare an offer to rent that I submit to the listing agent, who then gives that information over to the landlord. The landlords like to review the information, that way they can make an educated decision on whether or not they're looking to allow you to rent their space. So you definitely want to have all of your ducks in a row. When we start the process of looking for an apartment, you probably just want to make sure you have your last month worth of pay stubs readily available so that we can submit your packet in full. So once we've submitted your application and the landlord says, Tiffany, I love your client. Yes, I want to rent to them. Well, then we start to negotiate the terms of the lease, which is things like the date that you're actually going to move in, when you're going to provide that first month rent, security deposit, and broker fee. That's really when we get the negotiating started so that we can come to an agreement and have that lease signed and then get you the keys. If you are currently looking for an apartment, again, feel free to give me a call or text me. My number is 973-460-4674. I'm here to help. And I look forward to helping you find your next place. Take care.